welcome to the number one station that gives you a voice all over the world. This is Voice of the People, 90.3 FM, and I bid you welcome to the final episode of the New Nigeria debate for this week. The program comes to you today from 1:30 to 3 p.m. We do appreciate you for being a part of the conversation. Thank you for always listening to Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Without you, we really will not be here. Like I like to say, you are the oil in our engine. You are the reason why we are here. My name is Chioma Innocent.
And I am Solomon of again, welcome to the New Nigeria debates. From now till the 2027 general elections, we'll be giving you latest stories, update as far as politics in Nigeria is concerned. The latest in the political parties, the leadership of these political parties, what is going on with the different huge personalities in these political parties. And so between now and the 2027 general election, and then even some weeks after the general election, because of obviously we will be analyzing what happened in the election. So yes, that's what this program is meant to be, and that's what it is going to be. Again, welcome to the show.
Good to have you here. Like we're talking about, the New Nigeria debate is a platform for expression. It's an intentional gathering of politically conscious Nigerians and the politicians who vie for positions, or the spokespersons who are their mouthpieces. Right here on the New Nigeria debate, we'll discuss pertinent issues even as we enter into campaign season, where political aspirants will once again try to regale you with their achievements. They will try to sway you, the electorate, with sweet promises, sometimes financial favors, and indeed other forms of inducement. But I hope you understand that this time around, it's not just about voting for a preferred candidate. It's about choosing your future. It's about making choices that will make life better for you and yours. It's about setting our priorities right. It's about putting aside ethnic, religious, tribal, and other forms of bias that impede our ability to think right and choose the best for ourselves and for our nations. Now, you do know, in recent times, our country, Nigeria, has witnessed what seems to be a turn for the worse, despite the people at the helm of affairs trying to make us believe that things are taking a turn for the better. But we can see with our eyes, we can hear with our ears, and we can feel with our sensibilities that it is indeed the other way around. Almost all the time, I tell you, that politics plays a huge role in whatever happens to us. It determines how much you pay for fuel. It determines if you'll be able to afford to send your kids to the kind of schools you want them to go. It determines how much you pay for healthcare. It determines, in fact, what happens within the environment. If you have a leadership that is more focused on politicking than governance, that is when you will have a people who will be scrambling and crying for their right and waiting for it to be handed to them on a platter, and that will not happen. So this is a platform for political debate. Now, we know that as Nigerians, to support different political parties, there are a host of political parties in Nigeria, some indeed more popular than others. There is no gainsaying the fact that the All Progressives Congress, which is the ruling party, seems to be the biggest party in
by far the biggest.
It is the biggest party
by far
in
the
Nigeria
biggest
right now. The PDP that's supposed to come second, we don't know what's happening. So we might put the ADC in the second position. Labour Party, we don't know what's happening with them.
Actually.
PDP, we don't know what's happening with them. But these parties that should have been worthy contenders to the APC, we are not seeing these parties rise up the way they ought to. And so to you as a Nigerian, the question we're asking today is it possible to be the APC in 2027? Now, there is a very recent report on Peter Obi saying that, he's not sure he'll have the ADC ticket.
Now, before we come to the Peter Obi, you talked about the different tribal sentiments in this country.
Tribal, religious, and other forms.
Let us talk about that a bit, because I know different tribes, we have our... what's the word now? We have our different negative connotations ascribed to different tribes in Nigeria. I know that when I was growing up, we know the stereotypes associated with Yoruba people, as in for the way non-Yorubas perceive Yoruba people negatively, is that they are dirty, is that there's they can have a lot of psychophantic behavior. They know how to do dobale, and meanwhile it's not coming from their mind. That's how non-Yoruba people perceive Yoruba people as. And then the for the Igbos, the negative stereotype associated with Igbos, for non-Igbos people, they see the Igbo people as being very trickery, very trickish, very slippery, not trustworthy. They think they are the smartest people in the world, but they use the more or less like an evil genius. And then for the houses, they perceive the houses as what's the word? Slave mentality, and the dumbest tribe in Nigeria. For the people from Delta and Edo states, the negative stereotype attached to them is for the Yorubas, most of them prefer harlotry, and for the women, most of them prefer harlotry, and for the men, they are armed robbers.
Honestly, I would lie to you, Mr. Solomon. I've not heard a lot of this. The South, they like pepper. People from the East, they like money, and the others, they might say, "Oh, when it comes to the
I'm coming. I'm driving somewhere."
If people hold this kind of opinions, that is, where do you want to start from to disabuse them?
I'm landing somewhere. Those were the general stereotypes, like with that from Cross River and Akwa. Those were the stereotypes, especially in the 90s. Yes, actually. But then again, this was what happened. The media, the National Orientation Agency, some well-to-do Nigerians played a huge role in disabusing those stereotypes. That's when they started educating Nigerians that those are tribal bigotry. Of course, there are negative stereotypes attached to Christians, there are negative stereotypes attached to Muslims. Those were the stereotypes then. But the media, thanks to the National Orientation Agency, a lot of Nigerians were abused. A lot of Nigerians were disabused from those stereotypes. And then Nigeria now started becoming whole again. Then there were a lot of jingles. One Nigeria, diversity is a big deal. Diversity. The reason why Nigeria is the greatest country in the world is because of this diversity. But the last 10 years, those stereotypes have started resurfacing again, thereby, and the politicians started taking advantage of all those stereotypes, and that's where we are today. It's messing our country seriously. That's what I wanted to say.
Honestly,
that's a huge thing, right?
If there are parents who were teaching their kids that's really messed up, like you said.
It was a messed up stereotype.
But I won't lie to you. Maybe because I grew up in Lagos, I've spent all my life in Lagos. I've always lived in an environment where I grew
up in Lagos too, actually.
Where there are different, people, different tribes, and of course there will be quarrels, but usually it's, petty quarrels. It never had to do, and the highest thing you will hear is, "Oh, now so them they do," you understand. But this kind of negative connotation to this extent.
Oh yeah, it was that bad,
and it's not an insult.
Oh, it was that bad.
They will say when people like money. You understand?
Yes.
But these particular ones that you're talking about.
Here's the thing.
I don't think I've heard that before.
Here's the thing. Even with those reorientation, those stereotypes never stopped. They only went to the background. It's because of course, obviously, people tried not to be associated with tribal bigotry, and so you hear them in the backyard and background, but they don't say it outside. But I think our politicians have started taking advantage of that, so they're dividing Nigeria among tribal and religious divide, and it came to a head in the 2023 general elections, where we started hearing stuff like, "Go back to the East, go and develop the East," and what are you doing? What are you doing? Try to buy land in my village. We started hearing a whole lot. I covered the 2023 election. I heard a whole lot. I was like, okay, this is like deja vu all over again. This is bringing us back to the early 90s. Before a whole lot of work were done to disabuse Nigerians of some of these negative stereotypes. And then there was a whole lot of jingles, there was a whole lot of the national orientation. The media then did a very good job trying to unite Nigerians with diversity messages.
How good of a job did it do? There's only so much jingles and the TV programs and others can do for people who are divided in thought, in culture, in ideology. But when it comes to culture and tradition, we are more similar than we are not. That's one thing that we actually fail to realize. Anyway, the reason for this conversation on the New Nigeria Debate this afternoon is for you to understand the kind of things that politicians will say to you to divide you, to make you believe that the next Nigerian or your fellow Nigerian is not your brother, oh, it's not your sister. Look at them, they look different from us. No, we do not look different. Sometimes, in fact, when we travel abroad, all they know is you're a Nigerian. Nobody cares if you're Igbo or if you're Yoruba. It is we that will go abroad and start telling people that, oh, if you see a Nigerian, ask if they're Igbo or Yoruba. If they're Igbo, treat them like this. If they're Yoruba, treat them like that. It doesn't make sense. Then there are also religious lines, and we can see what's going on in Nigeria today with terrorism. If you don't vote right in 2027, the troops say that yourself you do. Honestly, because or if you don't even vote at all, there is a particular adage or a proverb or an aphorism. I hope I remember it correctly. It says there are two. They say the tree voted for the axe because the axe convinced them that it was one of them because his handle was wooden. It was the same axe that was used to cut down the tree. Then there's this other one that says the mosquito and the bed bug voted for the insecticide, and when the trouble came, they all died, including the house fly that did not vote. Why? Because the insecticide affects all insects. So you can think, oh, I want to be on the fence, I'm on the sidelines, I don't do politics. Politics will do you. It will do you over and over and over again. So let's take each of these political parties one after the other. Labour Party, I don't know what to say about the Labour Party. I won't even lie to you. I don't know what to say about the Labour Party.
Well, they did brought out a national convention timetable yesterday. March, was it April 16 or 17? If I remember
for the
correctly,
national convention.
For the national
then
convention.
From May 15 to 23, they will now hold
the different ward
primaries. So who do they want to present as for presidential candidates, for governorship positions and others? Who do they want to present? Who is that person within the Labour Party that has that name, that has that clout that they want to present? Or are they going to the polls to waste money and waste their time? Is that what's going on here? Are they going to the polls to waste money and waste their time? It's very unfortunate, but for these people, I really don't know what to say.
It is interesting. Well, at least they've tried by bringing out a timetable for their convention. Of course, we're going to see what that becomes of them. But one thing is for sure, they've harmonized their faction. The Ninadi Sambo faction was recognized, and the problem is to harmonize a lot of these factions and their
which faction are they harmonizing? The Nenadi Usman faction, they seem not to be saying anything with everything that Julius Abure is doing. But there was actually something I wanted to read out. I got this, from someone who is privy to what's happening within the Labour Party. It says here, communique by Labour Party Women's Wing. The Labour Party Women's Wing, which comprises the National Women League, that's South Zonal Women Leader, and all the state women leaders, held a virtual meeting on Wednesday, 18th of March 2026. The women leaders observed with keen interest all that has been unfolding. In fact, let me just get to the resolutions. They continue to stand with Barrister Julius Abure and Alhaji Umar Farouk Ibrahim, and they recognize only them and the National Working Committee and National Executive Council that they lead as the authentic NWC and NEC that they align with. The women leaders representing all the women in their state stand with and also give their maximum support to the resolutions of NEC arrived at on the 17th of March 2026. The women leaders will continue to stand with the leadership of the party and encourage them to ensure that everything is done with no stone left unturned in order to return the leadership of Labour Party to its legitimate owners. Do you remember one time when the NLC was fighting that they are the owners of Labour Party?
Yeah.
This one is a house with so many landlords. But let's look at Peter Obi and him saying he's not sure he will get the ADC ticket. But what was all the fight than 4. He's been saying, I don't want to be vice president, I will be on the ballot. So why will you now go to a party or a coalition when you're not sure that they will put you at the forefront? Who else can the ADC present that will actually give them a strong enough fighting chance? Some political analysts have said, that if they present Atiku, it will give them a fighting chance. But it is supposed to be the turn of the South, at least for the next 4 years, isn't it?
Well, for a long time, the ADC coalition have been called an Atiku coalition. So for people like us that have been doing the political calculation, Atiku doesn't look like someone that will go without a fight. It's more like the northern version of the Milokon situation. So he's been fighting for years to be president of Nigeria. It has been his long time dream, and is trying very hard to see that to fruition. So when the coalition came out, of course, a lot of this news and rumors started coming out that the ADC is going to be an Atiku coalition. It looks like Peter Obi is coming late to the party. It's like he probably finally realized that it looks like truly the ADC is going to be an Atiku coalition, so I need to start pitching my tent somewhere else.
Wow. I mean, whatever is happening within the ADC, Nigerians just want to, at least for Nigerians who are in the opposition, they want to see that one party that has a fighting chance so that they can follow. But we have via the telephone this afternoon, Comrade Abiodun is joining us to actually talk about these issues, talk about how the opposition is positioning itself ahead of the 2027 elections. Good afternoon, sir. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, good afternoon. I can hear you clearly.
Good to have you here, sir.
I'm audible.
Yes.
Pleasure too.
Yes, you are. Thank you very much for joining us. We understand that you are the chairman of the Socialist, the national chairman of the Socialist Party of Nigeria. Now, I speak for a few Nigerians that I've spoken to who do not really know the party. So tell Nigerians what they should know about your party and just how prepared you are for 2027. What has your rollout been like? Have you been involved in this digital membership registration?
Yeah, Socialist Party of Nigeria is a socialist-oriented party. That it is a party that believes that to reposition the destiny of Nigeria, it is only through the socialist route. That only a socialist government run on a socialist program in Nigeria that can resolve all of the problems that we are facing. And that party was launched in 2013, but it was not registered in 2018. But immediately after it was registered in 2018, through court judgment, because INEC refused to register us for over 5 years, we were in court with INEC. But immediately after the registration, through court judgment, we were able to participate in 2019 election. And it was immediately after that 2019 election that the party was deregistered. And that explains why that party is not going to be on the ballot in 2027 election. But we are not bothered because we knew that one day Nigeria is going to demand for a party that is going to rescue them from the arrows of capitalist parties we have in the country. I carefully listened to your introduction, talking of opposition party. In Nigeria today, let nobody fool anybody. There's no opposition political party. All of the parties we have, maybe except AAC, which is Showore's party, that have a resemblance of a fighting political party, though with a program that is not clearly a socialist program, but at least among all the political parties, it is only the party that you can still see that is identified with the pain of Nigerians. We are aware that in Makoko, houses are being demolished. In Oluwodo, people are being made render homeless by APC-led government in Lagos. And no other political party, that is identified with these victims, except a party like KAC. So that is why I said that except KAC, all other political parties, including Labour Party, they are all capitalist parties. They subscribe to the same program.
Okay.
And as such, we don't see them to be different from others. So that is why you cannot say that they are opposition. You can only be an opposition political party if your programs and philosophy is different from the one that is tormenting, that is in government and tormenting people. But I look at all of the parties that is grandstanding around, ADC, and including the PDP. None of them can be referred to as opposition political party. And that is why they are in disarray. Because there's nothing ADC can say that it will do differently from what APC is doing if it constitutes the government. You see, Atiku that will say is go. Atiku has said it severally that he's going to sell NPC completely if he becomes the president. That means that what he has as a plan for Nigeria is worse than what Tinubu is doing currently. The same thing goes to Obi. Obi, even in 2023, he said it that Nigeria should stop fighting over them, that himself, Obi, Atiku, and Tinubu, that they represent the same thing, that there's no difference between them, that if he forms government, he's not going to do anything different from what Tinubu and Atiku will do. So when you have this kind of individual, struggling to be candidate of a party that is also struggling to capture political power from the APC, it is very difficult, for us to categorize them as a political party. Yes, they can be a political party struggling to capture power.
You said the ASC is the only opposition political party in Nigeria, but the ASC does not really have anyone notable in any elective position in the country at the moment. Some people see them as just a group of protesters who gather whenever they want to express their displeasure on the policies of the government. So how exactly are they being an opposition? Do we know the chairman of the AAC? Do we know the publicity secretary? The only person we know is Showore. It seems he's the only one carrying the party on its back. So is it the activities or the activism of Showore that makes the AAC a viable opposition party? Or what else?
Yes, like I said, is the only party that has a resemblance. Mark my word, they have a resemblance of what one can call opposition political party. That word is very significant, resemblance. And what that means is that it itself has not been a full opposition political party. And that itself further express the character of the Nigerian political, the Nigerian politics. And what do I mean by that? Nigerian politics is a politics that is driven by money. If you don't have billionaires in your party, or if you don't have billions in your account, to run propaganda and to deceive people, you can never be noticed. And that is why, like you said, AAC has not been known in the mainstream politics in Nigeria. But I'm happy you said something, that at least it's not completely off the scene because of the activity of Showore. And that activity, like you said, a group of protesters, that is what is required in Nigeria today to reposition this country. That group of protesters' numbers has to increase. It has to become mass of the Nigerians. Let me tell you something. Most of the Nigerians today are not interested in any of these political parties that is claiming that they want to come and rescue the country. And it's always reflecting in the outcome of, look at the last local government election held, in Abuja. Less than 10% of the electorate participated in that election. Even the election that brought Tinubu to government in 2023, the participation was very poor. In the history of the civil rule since 1999, no Nigerian government recorded less than 10 million votes. But Tinubu was different. He has less than 10 million votes in 2023. All of that is a reflection of a collapse of confidence of the people in this their so-called civil rule experimentation. So what that means is that a pool of Nigerian working people are no longer interested in their party and their politics. But unfortunately, there is yet to be a political party that can serve as a rallying point for this mass of Nigeria. For such a party, that will serve as a rallying point for them, must be a party that must be ready to identify with them in their struggle for daily survival. Like I said, Showore party may be seen as a party of a group of protesters. That protest is what can project the profile and the influence of a party that is going to rescue Nigeria. Because the working people don't have money, but the only thing that can make their own party to be different is a party that is ready to identify with their struggle. If their houses are demolished, if their right is being trampled upon, it is a party that is able to identify with them in all of these their struggle for survival, that they are going to identify as their own party and they are going to rally around such a party. That is the kind of direction that such a party will go. If anybody thinks that a party will have emerge today and is going to is going to get a momentum, become a mass party, like a billionaire political party, it's not going to happen. Say for instance, even look at this ADC. Since it has been formed, or since the politicians, billionaires have orientated towards it, you could see that it did not get the kind of momentum that APC got when APC was formed around 2015, thereabout. And that shows that Nigerians are getting wiser. They do not see any difference in them. What is the difference between Aregbesola and Tinubu? Aregbesola used to be Tinubu's boy, as some people always say. He made him the governor, as he always claimed in Osun State. Now he is now the engine room of ADC. What is he going to do in ADC that is different from what he did in APC when he was the governor? So when you look at all of these people, Nigerians' eyes are now open wider. The only problem that is lacking, that they are having now, is that they are not seeing alternative political party that can constitute, a rally point for them to challenge power. And that's why we are calling on the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress that it is high time to begin to talk, of a need to form a party of the working people, so that the pepper seller, the tomato seller, the teachers, the unemployed youth can also have a platform to express their political value against what we have currently.
Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress has once said they were a member of the Labour Party, rather. You don't think so?
Yes, the Nigerian Labour Congress actually formed Labour Party. That was in 2001, if I'm not making mistake, as a Party for Social Democracy, before it was renamed Labour Party in 2003. And at that time, Nigerians were willing to identify with such a party, even though people like us weren't part of the party, were part of the NCP, National Conscience Party, formed by Gani Fawemi. Because at that time it was a party that was, articulating the needs of the Nigerian working people. But when the Labour Party changed its name, PSD changed its name to Labour Party, and it begins to gain momentum because of all of the struggle Adam Oshimole was forced by the Nigerian people to lead against Obasanjo regime at that time. And we feel that party is now gaining a kind of sympathy and support among the Nigerian working people. We attempted to orientate towards it, but the Labour Party, they were fearful of our influence, that once Socialists join this party, it will make it difficult for them to turn it to what they are using it for today, which has now boomerang, for them. And that is that they only want to be using the party as a vehicle for politicians, billionaire politicians, who could not get tickets in other political parties. We started with Pedro in Lagos. When Pedro could not get, tickets, when Tinubu chased him away as his deputy in Lagos, he got the ticket of Labour Party, in Lagos. The same thing goes to Fire Saying Ekiti. Even what we call the late Akala in Oyo State here. These were the Ubai in Nimo. These are the very questionable people. People do not believe in the philosophy of labor that, that used the party as a vehicle for political power at that time. And that was why they killed the party.
Okay.
And today, as we speak, even the NLC themselves have been booted out of the party. Agero sometimes in December said it that they themselves do not even know what is happening again in the party. And we know that they will never know anything because the party has been like that at Bironia. But it is not enough for them to just be lamenting. If they know that Labour Party has become a party that they cannot identify with, they should start the process of launching another political party that is going to run on the basis of socialist program. In UK today, what used to be known as Labour Party has also been hijacked by the capitalist politicians, such that a group of activists in UK today have now launched what they call Your Party, which is a new party that is now gaining momentum among youth, calling for a socialist transformation of the United Kingdom. And I think Nigerian labor movement should borrow from that example and commence the process of launching a socialist party in Nigeria.
Okay, comrade. You said the only viable opposition parties are AAC. You've mentioned ADC. You've mentioned Labour Party. Why is SPM not a viable opposition in Nigeria?
I told you, I said, what makes SPM not to be able to play the kind of viable opposition that is required to change this country because of the character of our election. Now, election in Nigeria is an affair of billionaire.
It's money driven.
It is money driven, and all of us in the Socialist Party were people who have never participated in bourgeois politics, who have never occupied any position, who have never stolen public funds, who are civil servants. We don't have billionaires in our party, and we are not interested in having any. We contribute money, subscription from our members to run our party, and we don't take money from people to contest election. I contested as the gubernatorial candidate of Socialist Party of Nigeria in Oyo State in 2019. I did not spend a dime to get nomination form. The nomination form on INEC website is free until today. It is all these political parties that always put an obstacle of billions such that the poor people will not be able to get it. So to get an influence, in Nigeria as a political party, it can never be through election. Because how do you want to do it? To run your campaign, with all of these billionaires who are only busy distributing money, food, machine, got it through bought through their e-gotten money, to the people. These are some of the things that we feel that is making it difficult for poor, for poor working people party to get influence. But that does not mean that it's not possible. It is possible. Such a party must always identify with or without election with the struggle of the people. And that is what we were trying to do as Socialist Party when the register was. But even despite the deregistration, up to today, we continue to identify with the struggle of the working people.
Comrade, does it mean you think politics can be run without money, just the people?
Yes, politics can be run without money. When we say without money, we mean that without billions as we have it today. Because
isn't that a pipe dream for a place like Nigeria?
It's not a pipe dream. It's something that has happened in this country before. And I will tell you, in 1999, when AD was formed, all of the people that contested under the platform of AD were poor people. And I can tell you for free that, take for instance, in Oyo State then, Lamadeshina, who eventually became the governor, was as poor to an extent that he could not even buy a newspaper by himself. Newspaper at that time was not even up to 1 naira, such that he has to join the free reader association, where they normally buy newspaper, and he became their chairman. And that's going to verify. It shows that was how poor those individuals. Is it Adefarati they want to talk about? According to these are the character that eventually became governor under PDP or AD at that time. And all of the people who contested under PDP were already, they were rich people. Those who were stooges of military junta, who were able to get money from the military, who were booted out of power. But with the money of PDP, people went and rallied around the AD at that time because it was a party who professed to build on the legacy of free education, free health care of our own. And people rally around such a party, thinking that when such a party constitutes government, you continue to build on the legacy of Awolowo. But that is an example that a party, can participate in the election without billionaire, without all of the money, that were used at that time were contributed by the people. I can remember in Oyo State, people were contributing money, printing posters on their own, pasting it on their own for lamadation. And that was the example across the southwest at that time. So that is an example that here in Nigeria, it is possible.
Now, you said your political party won't be participating in the 2027 election. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, because we have been taken off ballot by INEC registration.
So what will you be doing? Do you have, are you gravitating towards any political party you support, any political party, or your party will just be doing, according to Nigerian pilots, sit down look in this next general election?
We can't be sit down look. We are obviously, like I said, the only political party on the ballot today that have a resemblance of the kind of a party that we think the Nigerian people need at this time.
It's ANC. So it means your political party will be gravitating. Okay.
We are discussing with the leadership. We are not members yet. We are discussing with the leadership with the possibility of
a coalition,
being part of the party, for the election. But joining that election, let me tell you, joining that party is not with any illusion that we are going to win any position if we stand as candidates under the party. But our participation, will offer us opportunity to start mobilizing of Nigerians, the workers and the poor, in preparation for the struggle that is going to break out after the election. Because whether Tinubu wins or Atiku take over or Obi wins of that election, the truth of the matter is that the suffering of Nigeria will be doubled after the election. And that Nigeria is not going to keep quiet. They are going to fight back. And that is the period we are preparing for. And that is why the only goal that will make us to participate in the election, if at all we do, and that will be to be preparing for the struggle that is going to break out after the election. Nothing more.
All right. You've talked about alignment ahead of 2027. You've also talked about the APC, what kind of party they are, what kind of ideology they believe in. What would it take to beat the APC in 2027? It is obviously the party to beat. A lot of Nigerians think that the opposition are not ready, they are not serious, and so whatever the APC or anyone who claims to represent them is giving, whatever kind of palliative, whatever they are sharing, rice, electronics, whatever, people want to take it to see if they can stave off hunger for a week or two. What would it take to beat the APC in 2027?
What will it take to beat ABC or APC?
The APC, the ruling party.
Yes, to beat APC in 2027, like I told you, that 2027 is going to be a festival of billionaires. Any party that will beat APC in 2027, one, must be a party that has more money than APC and the government formed by the APC, to buy votes, to hire thugs, to snatch buses, to hire thugs, to keep political oppositions, politicians, to hire assassins. Those are the things that a party that will be able to defeat APC must have in 2027. And I look around.
In other words, you think they have to play dirty for them to win?
It is going to be dirty because it's a struggle for survival among politicians to capture state power so that they will continue to have access to free access to the public fund. That is the basis of their struggle. None of them want to capture political power in order to create jobs for the 10 million unemployed youth across the country. One of them is struggling to capture power because they want to build out it. One of them is struggling to capture the power because they want to build more schools or to build more hospitals for the people. None. Their interest is to capture power so that they can have a strong access to the stealing, looting of the public fund. That is the motive. And I look around, I don't see any among this party that can be able to match APC force by force in this regard. Look at it now. APC through the president's son have launched what they call City Boys campaign. This is a commemoration of all the Yahoo boys, the cultists across the country.
Sir, if that's a weighty allegation, these are just supporters of the president coming together to show
and look at them. These are
and convince the people to vote for him. Why would you say they are cultists and Yahoo boys?
Look at where they are campaigning. Look at how they are crossing their hands in calling themselves a form of. Look at where they launched a lab. They are watching it. Those who are sparing it, ask yourself a question. Where are they getting these billions that they are spending? The city youth across the country. So I don't see any one of them, all the political parties we have today, that will be able to match these parties, force to force in terms of capturing political. So the prospect of APC returning to power in 2027 after the election is higher than any political party. But what will happen after the election is what is not certain at this time, because I know other politicians who are also struggling for power, they are not also going to fold their hands. So the question of a violence, erupting after the election is not something that can completely ruled out. And I think the Nigerian working people must be prepared in order not to make them to be a victim of the fight that is going to erupt, between these two gang of gladiators. So Nigerian working people must be prepared for a struggle, to rescue this country from this gang of gladiators and have a country that can begin to be run in the interest of all, not in the interest of.
Comrade, Nigerians have been struggling. You remember the NSAS protest? You remember the End Bad Governance protest, the 10 days of rage, the fearless protest, the gathering in front of the National Assembly for the Electoral Act amendment. It's a lot. Many Nigerians hit the streets when they believe that an injustice has been done to them or when they're not happy with the policies of the government. We have not seen any of these demonstrations change things for the better. So why should Nigerians keep struggling if nothing will come out of it? Nobody wants to die, especially when if they die, nothing changes. Their death or their blood, it's changing nothing.
Well, you see, the thing is that none of the struggle of Nigerian working people, whether by youth or by workers, have ended without gain. None. Even the answers you just made reference to, it wasn't without any gain, despite the repression. You recall that at the peak of the answers, the government has to make some pronouncement, that all of the SARS name was changed immediately to something else, even when the operation itself continued. That singular action showed that with more concerted struggle, organized struggle of the working people, not only the youth alone, if had it been the NSC at that time, declare a 24/5 to support the youth movement, Nigerian government will have been brought down to its knees. So it is the absence of the solidarity from the working class, through a strike by the NSC that explains why it was possible for the Nigerian government to repress that youth movement at that time. And also because of the wrong formulation of the youth, because the youth at that time, they saw everybody that is old to be the problem, including their father, not knowing fully well that many of the old persons were equally people who have fought for Nigeria, even when they were like themselves, and today they are victims. Instead of them to align with those older Nigerians, working people, to tap experience from them, how to conduct such kind of a struggle, they were rostered to them and they turned everybody to an enemy. These were some of the wrong approach adopted by the NSAS protesters that led to the success of that repression. Because if they have learned from youth who participated in anti-SARS struggle in 1989, who are now fathers, who are now in their 50s, if those ones have not been seen as their enemy, there's every possibility that they could have learned from them, and that will have strengthened them and will have made it possible for them to be repressed by the way they were repressed by the Nigerian government at that time. But like I said, despite all of that, that protest did not go without gain. Fine, the gain may not be exactly what is the desire of the Nigerian youth. But the truth of the matter is that up to today, when you go to, when police stops you and you mention SR, they kill twice because they know what they faced during that SR struggle. But I'll be able to tell you that one, that SR was not without without some gain, some concession, even though those concessions were not exactly what was wanted by the Nigerian youth. And I'll be able to explain to you why that protest, that movement couldn't have achieved more than what it achieved, and why it was able to be repressed by the Nigerian government at that time. But let me say this, despite that repression, Nigerian youth, they are going to get over it one day. They've already gotten over it. That was what led to the outbreak of end bad governor movement in the last 2 years, if I'm not making a mistake. And the momentum is still growing. It's still growing. You cannot be beating a child and you think that child is not going to cry. The day Nigerian youth, the Nigerian workers is going to cry, may not be known now, but they are going to cry out one day. And the ruling class should begin to prepare for it.
As a chairman of a political party in Nigeria, however little known, how are you preparing for 2027? Whether you're on the ballot or not, will you align with the AAC, as you said? Will you work towards Shore's, emergence as Nigeria's next president?
Yes, I've told you that we are in discussion with AAC with a possibility of a working relationship towards ensuring our participation in 2027 election. And like I said, our participation is not with any illusion that candidates under AAC is going to win the election. Though it cannot be ruled out. But the truth of the matter is that beyond winning election is to ensure that it begins to prepare for the struggle that is going to break out after election. Let me tell you something. If you will win 2027 election, the ruling class are not going to hand over power to you. That's the truth. So we are likely to have a repeat of what happened in 1993. And the struggle that is going to break out is what I think Nigerian people should begin to prepare for. Whether she will win, whether it will not win, if it's APC that wins, if it's Atiku that wins, if it's Obi that wins, what is obvious is that the attack of both the economic and the political rights of the Nigerian working people will be deepened. And Nigerians are not going to fold their hands. They are going to fight back. And what that means is that we are preparing the youth, the workers, to ensure that such kind of a struggle, is successful.
Okay.
That is one of their fundamental goals of participating in 2027 election.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Abiodun Bamboye, the National Chairman of Socialist Party of Nigeria. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
It is a pleasure.
Thank you very much for joining us today, sir. We appreciate you very much, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. You are still tuned into the New Nigeria Debate right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Now, if you've never heard of the Socialist Party of Nigeria before now, you have heard about it now. There's so many political parties in the country that we do not even know. You understand? There are so many people with so many ideologies. He believes in a socialist country whereby the people will come together and do things for the common good. But before you achieve socialism, you have to first achieve unity. And once we are still divided along all of these lines, this socialism may be difficult for us to achieve. Anyway, it's time for you to call in to be a part of the conversation. 0803-692-9933, 0803-692-9933 on WhatsApp. It's 0817-175-633. Turn off your radio.
My name is Lena Soyaba.
Okay.
Wow, your guest today, it's talking like somebody who. You try to tell me, say, when I hear people from this like talk, I know it's the same line of talk. When they say all of them are the same thing, how can you say all of them are the same thing? I don't know. So what did you mean that man? In fact, I was aware when he was talking the way he was talking. So this is not, it's a different game from all these people. Yes. In fact, when you is what everybody is looking up forward to see, to become, and I don't know what other plan the ABC people are having, because there may be some plan, because the best way of knowing who is a wish will stay in his house and be looking into what is happening in other people's house. That is APC and Tinubu for you. But what I want to tell you is that may be surprised that profit come up. We are keeping quiet because they know that if Obi goes anywhere now, either they send their papa to go to that place. Their papa is already going to come near ABC. That is what Tinubu and co. When they sit down, competing, where will Obi go? Will you come here? That is, I can't understand this type of politics and the first strategy. Is that strategy? I don't know.
Thank you very much for your call. 0803-692-9933. I don't know. It's a little absurd to call and start vituperating over someone else's opinion. Give your counter opinion with facts, all right? Let us understand the facts of the case, not just come and call someone a hooligan because you're not happy with what they said. 0803-692-9933. Hello, welcome to the conversation. What's your name and location, please? Hello, are you there? You can give us a call on WhatsApp. It's 0817-175-6338 on WhatsApp. 0817-175-6338 on WhatsApp. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, Madam.
Shema Innocent and Solomon Ofem. What's your name?
Okay. Good afternoon, how are you work?
Very well, thank you.
The man will come there, speak well.
Tell us the name where you're calling from, please.
Sorry, sir. My name is Onyebụchi from Ejegu.
Okay, go ahead.
What I'm saying is the man will come there to speak well. We're supposed to bring ourselves down. Nigeria to carry themselves up and I finish the country. Everything they want to do, I don't know, maybe they don't say money they spoil life. Money they spoil life. Then how you use money go spoil everything concerning you. And the country now, then they use money spoil them. Because people with the rule now, money take the rule. How you can make a country to exist? You must speak well. I wish they will have any presidential candidate that can stand well, because Nigeria need people that have a solution now. About that ADC is just play place. Because the people who did there, number one, integrity before money. Anything out of integrity is nothing, is zero. That is why justice and equity is what make a country to exist. So that party now, if they can be able to organize the party, God can give them a standing man that you can look up to, because you never have anybody now you can look up to.
Obi is there to be looking up to. But I don't suppress the man. If I am the man, I can't by force myself to any party. I'll just store my room because good market sells itself. So God bless you for your good work. The man speak well.
Thank you very much.
Nigeria have to look for a solution. Nigeria have to put money aside.
Okay, thank you.
Put money aside. They use money to finish everything concerning this country. The way they use the money they do.
Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. We appreciate you. 13 minutes before 3 p.m. Send your message on WhatsApp to 0817-175-6338. And you can also give us a call. We're streaming live on YouTube. It's VOP 903 FM. VOP 903 FM. Send your message on WhatsApp and give us a direct call. 0803-692-9933. Hello? Hello? Hello, are you there? You have to give us a call back, please. Seems this person was not really focusing on the call that we're making. 0803-692-9933. 0803-692-9933. Hello. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, Jama. Good afternoon.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Talk to us. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I agree with your analysis. You spoke well, but everybody is not people is not. It doesn't have any corruption case at all. So we have no sense. So one, he left his business for this policy. That when he will announce all his fight, there is no sense. So people is quite different. The only problem with people is I used to speak German with Yami with during that time. Every piece I speak with them will start with Congress. Not Africa Democratic Congress. That's because we should not have any with our people. We went and joined him. Look at now the way he's just lamenting now. They would have over political party. And everybody will follow him. 2023, the Labour Party will not spend 10 kobo. They will not spend any money on any people. So they will have organic followership. So that's why I'm saying that 2027 is a bill. Look at what they did to billionaires, where they pursue them. Why are they the billions, all the governors, all the 500 billions they gave to the governors? Why don't they want to settle down? If you go back to Labour Party now, you see the Labour Party will start boiling. Go back to any MNPP now, MNPP will start boiling. Any political party, you be fired. So I don't know what they want to do now. It's not. I think now it's LDC, I think it's LDC position I think here. I think it doesn't have any direction in life. It doesn't know what is. It just gets to cause confusion. You will scatter LDC the way you scatter PDP. If you think that obedience will go and align with you, obedience can never align with that people. You should go back to all the Fulani people to come meeting in their region and stop insecurity. That is the major thing they should do, not to come and try to rule Nigeria.
Thank you for the call.
Wapanso has gone inside the cooler now. Wapanso is not talking again. No time I think we keep quiet. God bless you.
Thank you for your call. Thank you for your call. I appreciate it. Please keep it simple, keep it short, and keep it polite, all right? 10 minutes before 3 p.m. We'll take a few calls, take your messages, and then we'll have to go. Welcome to the new Nigeria debate. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Joseph.
Calling from?
Calling from Adepo.
Okay, go ahead, Joseph. Talk to us.
Thank you so much. You are doing a very good work.
Thank you.
Yes. We say that is always used to say let you be join with the article. And myself as a Nigerian, the little I can say, I will equally advise you to join with the article. The reason, number one is in that we cannot compare article with his brain. Most of their decision, most of everything they will be doing, I 100% believe that the article will always seek advice from OP. He cannot do anything, even if he is the president. There's nothing he can do without OP telling you, yeah, go ahead or do this or don't do that. Article cannot decide anything. And by so doing, OP will also be very close to the government to know what is happening. They say if you want to catch something like that, then you behave like a dog, or how do they do that problem? But that's a parable. So I strongly believe that if you join with the article, they must make it, and you will always give the article
advice on what to do, because the brain is 100% okay. Atiku's brain is a cake brain. Let me put it like that. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much for your call. I don't think it's a nice thing to say that Atiku has an archaic brain. Plus, how did this conversation turn into Peter Obi and Atiku? Right? You're not even talking about the new party, Socialist Party of Nigeria. You know, they hear that one. People are calling to defend Peter Obi. Did they ask you to defend him? Let's focus on the conversation at hand. 2027, how you go be? How you they prepare? Oh, you're waiting for Peter Obi to move before you follow him. All right, I think we can only take one more call so that we can take your messages. Hello? Hello? Hello, are you there? Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the conversation. What's your name and location, please?
Hello. Looks like you have to call us back. Your network is...
very bad.
Yeah.
Very terrible indeed. But let's take your messages in the meantime. We can only take messages right now. So send your messages and we'll take them. Good evening from Adeyemi Kamaru from Banana Island, Lagos. When the Metropolitan Police were protecting Tinubu from the agents of Nigeria military junta in the 90s, the young Peter Obi was working for this same military junta to ensure that Nigeria never experienced democracy again, but Tinubu won. Democracy won. Now the aliens of the junta are masquerading as Democrats. All right. Your opinion. Thank you for your message.
Good afternoon, Chuma. It's pathetic what the politicians have done to the average Nigerians. See, many are so jaundiced, they'll go to any length to push their point. I disagree with the mosquito about Mr. Peter Obi saying they are all the same. For Mr. Moile Sowore cannot be a good president. You can say his AAC and a good number of human rights fighters have gotten to position and done extreme otherwise. I hope educated Nigerians will take the bull by the horn to demand for good governance and guard the illiterate better. A one-eyed man among the blind is a blind man. It's time to demonstrate cerebral literacy. Simisola from Isolo, Lagos.
All right, good afternoon, everyone in the studio. Shekanade from Alabaoro. Who can tell where Nigerians are going from here?
Your guest is very right. New opposition political party is capable of defeating. For now, APC has taken over police, military, judiciary, and the Agberos in the streets, but the consequences of winning by APC will be much. Daniel from Oshodi.
All right, good afternoon. With what we have seen so far, it will be a great miracle for any opposition party to survive in Nigeria today. With President Tinubu on board, the planting of moles in all of the opposition parties is now the order of the day. It is not good for a true democracy at all. It's so sad and unfortunate that Nigeria is yielding to a one-party system, but what surprises me most is the rate at which the ruling party is still afraid of a free and fair election. Nevertheless, I still have a great hope that something good can still happen and Nigeria will definitely be better. Best of luck to opposition parties. From HRH BC Ngoko in Oshodi. All right, thank you very much, sir, for listening today. It's time for us to go. Thank you for being a part of the conversation this afternoon. But let's give you our own concluding thoughts before we go. As a Nigerian, you have to know your rights and your civic duties. It is your right and your duty to vote in every election. Get your PVCs. Participate in this election. If you can stay and defend your votes, all well and good. If you can't, vote and go home. But to say you will not be a part of the electoral process for whatever reason, I do not think that is the best use of your free will and the best use of your PVC. One other reason I advocate for you getting your PVC is it can also serve as a means of identification whenever you do not have any other document with you or any other card or anything that can identify you as a Nigerian. So dual purpose card. So get your PVCs. Prepare for your 2027 elections. It's going to be different.
Yeah, it is good to know that Nigerians have not even been discouraged. On Tuesday, INEC brought out the statistics that 2.6 million Nigerians have registered in week 10. And it's good to know that despite the controversy that have trailed the electoral amendment bill by the Senate some weeks ago, that have not discouraged Nigerians, and will implore you to continue not being discouraged. 2027, we don't know what will happen in 2027, but we can only try our best. And by the time the election comes and goes, we're going to beat our chest and say, we as ordinary Nigerians tried our best. It is the leadership that have continued to fail us. Well, it is time for us to go.
Yes, it's time for us to go. Funhouse time with MC Chooks and Dr. Walkie Talkie comes up shortly. Thank you for being a part of the conversation this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day.